Hello, it is Christopher McLeod AKA Diagnostik80 for the Full Force News Burst Live, and this is a very special episode today. We are going live just as Total Action Force Volume 2, the Kickstarter campaign, has launched. If you haven't heard about it yet, you're going to hear all about it today. So joining me on this live today are the creators of Total Action Force, the Battle Years, and of course, Total Action Force Volume 2, which, like if you go in the description right now, find the link, go and pledge. But anyway, let's see who we've got today. We've got Paddy. Hello, Paddy. How are you doing?
Hello.
And we've got Brian. How are you doing,
Hey!
Brian? Fantastic.
Oh, Chris, thanks. It's great to be here.
How excited are you guys right now after just launching the project?
Oh, super excited. Absolutely. Yes.
It's a mixture of excitement and mind-destroying anxiety as we wait and see how we do.
Yeah,
yes.
It's going well so far. As of just a few moments ago, it launched. You've already got something ridiculous. Like, let's have a look quickly. You've already got 12 backers in that very short amount of time, so that's amazing. Well, what we thought we'd do today is we're going to go through the whole project with you guys and talk through it, all the different kind of aspects of the book, what it's about, all that jazz, and then also go through the pledge levels. And we've got some cool imagery to show everybody, including the background image which we've got going on at the moment, which you can't see all of, but we'll get to that in a moment. So let's start off then, guys, looking at the book itself. Now, this is a gorgeous cover. It's not completely final, as I understand, but it's almost there, and it looks absolutely stunning, from Mike Collins, no less. So, I mean, take us through this one, if you would, please.
Well, we reached out to Mike. Paddy reached out to Mike very early on when we were kind of conceiving this, because we knew Mike he's an Action Force alumni. Mike
absolutely
began his career working on the Marvel UK Action Force, and obviously he's a very talented artist. And so Paddy made that reach out, asked him would he be interested in A, being interviewed for the book, and B, would he consider doing a bespoke cover for this particular volume. And Mike replied very quickly.
He said, "No, can't do it. Get someone else. Get someone else to do it. Do it yourself."
I'll give you Kev Hopgood's number. But we came back very quickly and was like, "Yeah, totally up for this," and really enthusiastic about it. And he said that he had really fond memories of working on Action Force back in the Marvel UK years. And for anyone who's picked up Volume 1 and has read that, what you'll find is that with the comics people, they have a very, I suppose, pragmatic approach to Action Force as a brand. It was a job, they're not overly attached to it. They're proud of their work.
How dare
but
they?
They weren't, they weren't massively attached to it. Where it was refreshing to talk to Mike and get a real enthusiasm from him. And he would have been like a young man, starting out in his career.
Yeah.
And he seems to have very fond memories of that time. So that was great to hear.
I can't remember which Action Force artist it was who was like 16 or 17, and they were working on Action Force pages on their dinner table when they got back from school. It was that crazy.
It might have been Brian Hitch. Hitch would have been about that age when he started. Okay. Yeah,
it was one of those guys. I remember hearing that story and just being like, "What?" But yeah, that was amazing. Okay, we're getting a few comments. I just want to kind of quickly run over to these. Diecast Nick says, "Hi guys, looking forward to hearing about the book." Well, you are now, so there you go. Thanks, Diecast Nick. Hi, Ryan Sweeney. He says, "Hello, gents."
Hey.
Zar Tan
Hi,
says, "Sup." Hello, Zar. And Peppermint Oil Capsule has a question for you guys early on. Will Volume 1 be available as a paperback? I love Action Force, but I've got a mortgage. Lots of lols. So what do you think on that one? And I'll remove the question because we can't see Brian's face also.
Yes, one of the stretch goals for this campaign is that we will do a reprint of Volume 1 as a paperback, which will make it a lot more affordable for people to get. So that should shave about 20 or 30 euro off the price by doing it as a soft cover. So it's a hardback hardback of Volume 2 in the same way that Volume 1 was. And then, but if we hit the stretch goal of €50,000, we'll be able to do a reprint of a minimum order quantity of soft covers of Volume 1 as well.
Brilliant.
That's awesome. Thank you for that, Paddy.
But yeah, it makes it a lot cheaper to produce it and ship it, obviously, because it's lighter. But
yeah,
it will still have all the same content and so on. But yeah,
you can literally just chuck it over the ocean, can't you? They're that light. Right. I kind of also want to. We probably should have started a little bit more base on what the actual book is about, like what it covers, all that kind of good stuff. Obviously, we're judging it by its cover right now, but let's get inside and kind of like talk a little bit quickly about like the overall idea of the book, maybe even Volume 1 to start with, so if people aren't aware of Volume 1 as well.
Well, I mean, Volume 1 focusing on the toys, but also had a big focus on the comics. It took a very close look at the creators, both on the Palatoy side and on the IPC magazine side. And then it kind of wrapped up with a look at the mythology. So looking at the different character profiles, and then a summary of the continuity of Action Force as it played out in the pages of battle.
Yeah.
So Volume 2 will follow that same model in that we've got the toys, we've got the comics, the supporting comics, and then we have that creator focus, and then that look at the continuity in terms of the different kind of character profiles, and then that unique Action Force story that kind of played out in the Marvel UK comics.
And also, on top of all of that you guys do, you do amazing, beautiful dioramas. Paddy's even known to kind of knock up some actual like background story on some of the unreleased kind of characters and stuff in Volume 1. I mean, are we likely to see anything like that in this book, Paddy? Are you going to be doing anything in a similar vein here, or is everything kind of already fleshed out in that sense?
Well, I think all those characters have their own bios from there wasn't any unreleased Marvel, Hasbro UK Action Force stuff in the same way that Palatoy had all those unreleased concepts and so on. So we don't have that aspect. We won't have anything like the Special Weapons Force section in this book because there isn't anything like that to talk about. What I am hoping to do is do a deep dive on the vehicle manufacturing, which is done here in Ireland.
Brilliant.
For Action Force. As we've spoke before on the phone or on the show about how the factory still operates. So I'm currently trying to see if I can get myself and Brian down there for a day and do a tour.
Right?
To Waterford, to get in there and
trash the place.
Trash the place, steal any tooling that's lying around, and that'd be the usual stuff.
Imagine if you came across like some old information that just like a storeroom that they just don't touch anymore.
But they do have a digital archive on site.
That's awesome.
So I am hoping to get access to that to see what we can find.
Hack into it like mainframe.
Exactly.
Renegade Biker says, "Hey Chris and all, hello Renegade Biker."
Hey, Renegade Biker.
Michael Jean Fleming says, "New book, yes. Thunder Machine pledge with supporter pack made." There you go.
Ooh,
thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
That's one.
We have a backer.
Right, let's get well. Also, on as well as the cover, this beautiful kind of almost coloured cover. I mean, it's almost there, but it's still obviously there's still more to do with this, isn't there? Subject to change, as it says in the image. But Mike also did these beautiful like the line art as well, which you can kind of see a bit more detail with here. You can even, if you're any eagle-eyed viewers, might be able to make out above Destro's head a cheeky little Tiger Force tiger rat, which is amazing. So
I was amazed when you pointed it out to me yesterday because I'd only seen this image on my phone.
Yeah.
And then you said, "Hey, is that a tiger rat?" And I'm like, "What?"
So yeah,
which I'm very happy about, given my love for Tiger Force is well known. We didn't ask Mike to do that; he just did. But he actually, our directions to Mike were actually, we kind of sent him the first, the cover of Volume 1 and said, "We want something like this, but very Cobra focused."
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yeah, leave it with me." The rest of it, the composition and the character choices and so on, we left up to him.
Brilliant.
Although we did ask for Destro to be a major player, because Destro is such an important character in the Action Force UK continuity.
Yeah, he was huge.
Whereas Cobra Commander was almost like a backseat character. Destro gets a lot of front covers.
Yeah,
Gets a lot of
a lot of
gets a
story
lot of
arcs.
iconic imagery. If you think of that first Action hardback annual, he's right. His head is there, right? Big. He's a big.
Unfortunately, you're cutting out a lot there, Paddy.
He's the main antagonist, I would say.
You're cutting out a little bit there, bud.
Action
Can you hear us at all?
Force
Because it
UK
just sounds like
stuff.
you're talking and not saying anything at the same time. Yeah, you're cutting out a lot, buddy. Apologies for that.
So we really want.
I have no idea what's going on. This is so weird. It's like you're still talking, but you're not.
That we
Can you hear us at all? This is crazy. Sorry, guys. We're having a little bit of a technical issue there with Paddy. I'll see if you can get that sorted out in the meantime. And then he hopefully can rejoin. Brian, sorry about that, bud. Well, we can continue then until Paddy can get sorted out with his connection.
Yeah, on the gist of what Paddy was saying there is that, obviously Destro is like he's more like the principal antagonist in the Marvel UK comics, and very early on they set up, in that story, that you've got Action Force has got a base in Geneva, a base in London, and a base in New York. And Duke and Scarlet are running the New York operations, and you've got Flint and Lady J kind of heading up the London operations. And similarly with Cobra and Mars, Destro seems to be kind of taking the lead on kind of operations in the UK. So he's the main bad guy, really. And so it made sense that he kind of modeled, say, how we use Flash on the first cover of book 1. We wanted to model that on book 2 with Destro.
Yeah.
And then Mike just filled in all the other gaps then or after that.
It's absolutely superb. Love it loads. And obviously kind of in color as well. It's looking really, really dope. We've got a few more. Comments coming through. Sorry, Renegade Bikers. This is slightly different, but have you all heard about the F2 tornado that hit my hometown of Springdale yesterday? Luckily, I was not hit, but a lot of other buildings were hit. I have heard about that, mate. I'm glad you're okay. That's pretty intense. And yeah, I have been in the vicinity of tornadoes, and they're not fun at all. So I hope everything gets sorted out where you are, mate. That sucks. This is a good one. This one's for you, Brian. If it's not one thing, it's your mother. Love you guys. Kiss, kiss, kiss. Thank you, Mom.
Hey, Sue.
Great to have you on, ma'am. Brilliant. She always gets the highlighted treatment on here. And yeah, I've got a couple of people joining on. That's awesome. Right, now, Paddy's still messing around, unfortunately, which is a shame. But as soon as he can come back, we'll bring him back on. You'll just have to put up with me and Brian for now. Anyway, let's get to opening this actually gorgeous book. And here are a couple of kind of, I suppose, like example pages of that year 1 of the toy line. This is something that I absolutely love. 1987. You've got all of the figures kind of lined up, all with their accessory loadouts. This is just one of those reasons I love these books, is just to see that visual, everything there on a couple of pages. It's so cool.
Yeah, I've always been I've got a few toy books in my collection, and I love when you get a kind of a character lineup like that. So, and it's something that worked really, really well in book 1, breaking out the different years. So that, again, we're modeling book 1 very heavily in terms of the look and feel, the design. So this is something that's going to be really special, kind of laying out the figures, laying out the vehicles as they were released. We've got the 87 line up here on screen in front of us, and similarly we're going to be rolling that out for 88 and 89 as well.
Yeah, and it's funny, isn't it? It's like a lot of figures you kind of forget, the kind of the size of this line in this kind of period of time. Like say 87 to 89, there was so many, and it was such an awesome lineup of characters. Oh, yeah, it's so good.
So these as a kid, but most of them I didn't have. So for me, when I saw this spread, I was like, I never realized there were so many.
I didn't have, it's easy to say what I didn't have out of this lineup. I didn't have Alpine, and I didn't have Bazooka. I didn't have Frostbite. I didn't have Heavy Metal. So there are a few vehicles I was missing as well early on. I didn't have Lady J until later on. I didn't have Shipwreck. No Wild Bill. Didn't have the Hooded Cobra Commander. Didn't have the Trooper. It might have been quicker for me saying what I did have. And I didn't have the Lamprey or the Stinger Driver. But everything else I had. So, actually, no Ripper and no Snow Serpent. So, yeah, it would have been quicker just saying what I did have. It's about 50-50 in the end. Right, next up then. Paddy still hasn't rejoined us, unfortunately. I can't get his camera's not working now, which is a shame. So this is an interior part of the book that shows, one, a beautiful dio shot, but then also a kind of aspect of the comics as well, isn't it, Brian?
So what I love about this is that beautiful Brian Hitch artwork there on the left-hand page. So again, like with book one, we had a whole chapter dedicated to the character profiles, which used all of the comic book artwork from the comic battle. So in this case here, we're getting the chance to reproduce some of the lovely artwork that was created for Marvel Weeklies and Marvel Monthlies. This particular image featured as a front cover shot. I think it was episode or issue number 49, I think. But it's a beautiful illustration by Brian Hitch. So this is a great chance for us to showcase the quality of the original work that was created by the British comics team when they were creating the different characters and the different stories. So we'll have a data profile for every single character. They may not have all made comic appearances. So where we don't have a piece of original artwork for the character, we'll just drop in one of our action figure photos in there, like we did, say, for example, with Skeletron or the Z-Force Commander.
Yeah.
But most of the characters should have some sort of comic book appearance, and we're going to make the most of that artwork.
Absolutely. And it's just, I love these pages as well. The dioramas are fantastic. It's just amazing. Getting a couple of questions through here. Renegade Biker is asking, how much is the price of the book and where can I find it? Well, first off, you've got lots of different pledge levels effectively. If you go to the link in the description of either YouTube or Facebook, wherever you're watching this, I think you're watching on YouTube, Renegade, then check the link there. It'll take you to the pledge page and you can see all the different pledge levels, which we'll be going through a little bit later on in this episode as well. So if you want to just hold on until we get to that point, Brian can take us through a little bit more detail on that. Another little question we've got coming in is from Joe Cam. Made my pledge. Loved book one. The photography was awesome. And you guys do so well at keeping us informed through the process. Thank you. And thanks, Chris, for all you do. You're welcome. But this is all about these guys.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you very much, Joe. That's awesome, mate. And Diecast Nick says, discovered Action Force in 87, was confused why Cobra Commander wasn't available. Went to Toys R Us one day. They were selling off loads of old stock of Cobra Commander, Major Blood, and Baroness on Palatoy cards. Got all three.
Nice.
That's a classic maneuver right there. That's a beauty. I actually went into a store when it was Action Force International Heroes had just come out, and there was a little, they were kind of shifting, I think, a lot of Palatoy stock. And they had a whole wall of it, and it was Robo Skull, and there was a hyena there, and they had a couple of other bits and pieces. But I didn't pick up on it because I was too busy with this new International Heroes thing. So I do regret that. Anyway, moving on in the book, and we've got the prints that we're going to be getting as well. Brian, do you want to take us through those as well?
Yes. So in addition to the book, one of our pledge levels, the Thunder Machine level, also lets you pick up a set of 6 8x10 prints and an A2 poster. And the A2 poster will come folded down to A4 size. So very much in that kind of vintage style, the way you would have got a poster with a comic, and you could unfold it and then put it on your wall.
Brilliant.
So we've just revealed the first print at the moment. Over the course of the campaign, so over the next 35 days, we're going to reveal the poster and the other prints. But this is the first print here, and this is an homage to issue number 1 of the Action Force or Marvel UK weekly comic, which featured our 3 principal protagonists on the front cover.
I know, I love this shot. It's so good. Yeah, really good. Oh, we've got Paddy has returned. Can you hear us, Paddy?
I'm back. What did I miss?
Yes.
Basically, you're releasing this book apparently that that it's all
Are we
right.
funded yet, or are we still waiting on money? I'm expecting this to be like the Robo Skull, where it's like after 40 seconds it's funded.
You've actually got 27 backers, which is incredible.
Okay.
Boom! It is rocketing. This is great. Good stuff, guys. Keep those pledges coming in. It feels like a pledge drive, doesn't it?
Yes.
And keep the comments coming, keep the questions coming in as you will. Just keep them coming, guys. Right. So yeah, the prints look beautiful. Cannot wait to see the rest of those prints. Can't wait to see what you've cooked up in your magic studio, Brian. You absolute. I can't say any swear words. You absolute beast, I'll say. Right. Let's get on to the pledge levels then. Starting with the Devilfish. Now, all of these are going to be on the actual Kickstarter page, which you can check out right this second if you want to, or you can just listen to us drone on about all this stuff and then make your decision after that. So take us through the pledge levels, starting with the Devilfish, guys.
You go ahead, Paddy.
So yeah, the Devilfish is, you'll see a running theme here in the pledge level names as we go on. The Devilfish is literally just your, if you'd like to support us and give us some money, and we'll print your name in the book, which is the same as we did with the first volume. So you don't get anything for that other than the nice warm feeling inside of knowing that you've supported a creative endeavor. Exactly. Plus, we'll also put your name in the book when you fill out your survey.
Which is brilliant. That's a really nice option to have if you like you say, if you don't have the money to fully back this, to actually get, the actual physical copies, you can still, show your support, which is great.
We actually had somebody do this for volume 1 and then come back and buy it later.
Oh, nice!
Because they felt like, I think it's Rudy who's in the backers in volume 1. He couldn't pledge at the time, and he pledged for volume 1. He just pledged to get his name in the book, and then he's like, I knew I didn't have the money, but I knew I would have the money, and I want to have my name in the book.
That's
when I could afford it.
Timing in it it's a killer,
yeah.
But that's great. I'm glad you managed to get one as well. Well, next up then we have Le Ferret.
So yeah, this is our basic. Would you like a book, and we'll send it to you? Pledge level. You'll see here we've cut the price on volume 2. We'd included shipping last time with the basic pledge. We've stripped shipping out this time just because a couple of people asked us to, and we've put in the actual shipping cost when you pledge for anything now. So €85. We will send you €85 plus shipping. We will send you a book.
Fantastic. So that's the Ferret. So the vehicles are getting more and more interesting as we go. Next, I want to see what comes next. What do the people in the comments think? It's going to take ages for them to come back, so I'm just going to go for it. And it is the Ore Striker.
Yes. So this one, you get a book, but it's a signed copy of the book.
Ruined it. Just ruined it. Just scribbled all over it. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, we've been known to do a few, funny pictures on some books. So be careful, because you might get a picture. But
this is a family show, Brian.
It's a family show. But so yeah, the Ore Striker, that's a signed copy of the book, and that was actually the equivalent of that was the Deep Sea Defender on book 1. That was a very popular reward here as well.
Fantastic. That's €105. You'll have to do all of the calculations yourselves if you're in the United States or the United Kingdom, for example. You'll just have to do your own, you know what I'm talking about. So that's the Ore Striker, one of my favorite vehicles of all time as well. Next up, another favorite of mine, the Thunder Machine. This is a beauty.
Yeah, so this is essentially the you get a signed book, you get the poster that Brian is doing, and you get the prints that Brian is doing. What was the equivalent we had in volume 1? I can't remember.
Oh, I think it was SAS Squad Leader.
It was SAS Squad Leader in volume 1, yeah. So it's that, again, that sort of level. You get the book, signed book, prints, and the poster.
And there's a nice visual of it as well. I just remembered that this one has an image attached to it. So yeah, there you go. There's a nice kind of visual of what you kind of get at that level. And just quickly, again, it's €145 or more. Yeah, brilliant. Fantastic stuff. I love the idea of putting the vehicle names at all the levels. That's really cute as well. Next up, the Dragonfly XH1.
Yes. So that's 2 copies of the book. You get 2. So that's it is what it is. It's 2 copies of the book, which will be, beautifully kind of wrapped up and shipped out to everywhere in the world. Be a dragonfly.
Kicked around the room. They'll tear pages out and wipe their bum with it. And so that is, cool. 165 on that one, which is cool. So again, 2 copies of the book. Beautiful stuff. All pretty, standard issue going on so far. And now, boom. We've got the HMS flag. Now, it's quite difficult to see there, but it's basically 400 euros, right? And I'm just going to do this so that Paddy can talk it through us. Talk through it with us. Boosh. There you go.
Yeah, so we have managed, through our good friend Dave Tree, managed to get our hands on a limited number of fan club items that were provided to people back in the 1988, 1989. So this is essentially an all-in pledge. With this pledge level, it is 400 euro, but that is because you get everything that's in the Thunder Machine level. So a signed book, Brian's poster, Brian's prints. You get a never opened mail away hooded Cobra Commander.
Nice.
It is still in his vintage baggie, never been kissed, as Drew Barrymore would say.
They have been kissed. If they've been in Dave's possession, he's kissed all of them multiple times.
So again, still vintage, unopened, never touched version hooded Cobra Commander, and then you get, again, in 1988, if you joined the fan club, you got a fan club welcoming pack, which is like in a binder, and it had like a notepad and stickers and all that sort of stuff. You will get one of those vintage fan club joining, welcome to the fan club packs with the code book and all that sort of stuff.
I've managed to get so many of them over the years. They're the best.
So then there is the Special Corps poster that was given out to people who sent away for the Special Corps figure, that has essentially every Action Force figure released to date on that, along with the Special Corps character. Again,
and a few that never actually came out in the United
and a few that never made it, because like Chuckles is on that poster as well,
Drives me mad.
So those are, again, all of this stuff is quite tricky to get nowadays. I don't know how Dave Tree has a warehouse full of it that he can offer us all of this stuff, but he has. Then you have the Action Force birthday card, which was sent to members of the club. Now they're not, obviously won't be addressed to you personally, but they were sent to members of the club on their birthday. An Action Force watch, again, offered as a mail away item. They don't work. The batteries are all gone and can't be replaced, but it's an Action Force branded watch, so I don't know, do whatever you want with it. I'm
desperate to try and find a way to replace that battery.
To replace those battery, yeah.
Some people have.
You have to like just kind of
just
cut it. You have to kind of, it's a bit more it's not easy, but carry on, sorry.
But it can be done. Then you have an Action Force patch and sticker, again, also offered to fan club members back in the day. And finally, a set of Action Force dog tags. So it's not everything that they offer to fan club members, but it's nearly everything they offer to fan club members, plus the mail away Cobra Commander figure. Again, this is an extremely limited pledge level, mainly because we can't get our hands on that many vintage Cobra Commanders.
I think there's only about 4 of them left already. So most of them are gone. There's only about 4 left. And it's worth, reminding people that these aren't reproduction items. These are original, vintage, unused fan club memorabilia pieces. The only new content is obviously the book, and then the new poster and prints that we're creating. But you've got the A1, vintage Special Corps poster, the birthday card, the mail away Cobra Commander is beautiful. The dog tags, the watch looks great.
The watch is brilliant. It's just it doesn't work.
It's a fantastic piece of kit.
I wore that watch. I wore that watch, by the way, recently for like months with it not working, just because it looked cool. Well, because you know what I'm talking about. Doesn't look cool.
And did it fit?
It's amazing. Yeah, on the last notch. Old fat wrists McLeod. Anyway,
Brilliant.
enough of my fat
and there's one other item. If we do manage to unlock the Volume 1 reprint, we will throw in a signed copy of Volume 1 as well as in a soft cover.
Brilliant. That's a really good level then, isn't it? Really, that's
a lot of stuff. Yeah.
No wonder. I love how you called it the HMS flag as well. That's a lovely touch. That is a lovely touch. Okay, right then. Next up is the hydrofoil. Now this is at 450 euros or more. Take us through this one, guys.
So this is similar to the Baron Ironblood level we had in Volume 1. It was for people who wanted to buy loads of them. So it literally is just copies of the book, multiple copies of the book. If you ran a store, we had a couple of retailers pledge last time to get multiple copies. That's that kind of level where if maybe you've got 5 mates who all want to back and get copies of the book. It's at a cheaper price.
That's a good idea.
You're buying in bulk and you're getting a bulk buyer discount essentially on 5 copies of the book.
God, that's a really good idea. I wish I'd thought of that. I don't have 5 mates though, so
yeah. But if you all wanted to chip in a few quid each and just say, well, you pledge and we'll get, I think it's about 20-25 euro saving off the cost of a book individually, off each book individually, and gets you a bit of a discount there on those.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for taking us through all those pledge levels, guys. Next up then are another aspect of the book, and that is the creators of the original comics. And you guys have got a lot of really cool people lined up here, which is fantastic.
So, I mean, every creator will get a profile in the book. So we will liken, again, anyone familiar with book 1, the battle years, all the writers, all of the artists, the editors who would have worked on Battle Action Force. There's a little bio on each of them. That will happen in this book too. Obviously, it'll be a Marvel UK team. But more than that, because these creators were so young working on Action Force, many of them, I think nearly all of them, are still alive today. So whereas remember that they were all veterans back in Battle Action Force, some of them were nearly at the end of their career working on Action Force.
Shout out to Gary Leach as well, who passed away this week.
Shout out to Gary Leach, absolutely. And he will be missed. His legacy was much greater than Action Force. But in the case of the Marvel UK years, we have a very young team back in the 1980s. They're all still very active today in their careers. And
it sounded like they finished PE, got home, and then started work on the book.
Started drawing Action Force.
That's how we rolled in the 1980s, child labor.
Yeah, that's next level child labor, isn't it? That is brilliant. I need to work out who that was. It might even have been Kev, actually.
So we're going to feature some of them here now as we talk through on the live show, but we actually have a lot of writers, editors, and artists all lined up to be interviewed for this. So Kev Hopgood's been great. He's delighted to come on board. Mike Collins, who's done the cover and been really enthusiastic to engage with us. And Paddy, I'll let you talk because I've done all the talking
earlier on. So we've reached out. I think we've got about 8 confirmed interviews at the moment. Some artists and some writers. We have Richard Starkings, who was an editor on Action Force at the time in Marvel UK at the time. Richard is now basically the guy who invented digital lettering for comics as well.
Yeah, I'm glad you're getting him involved in this because he's like a unsung hero in the entire kind of comics industry, isn't he?
Yes.
He created the first digital lettering programs for lettering comics. So anybody, any comic you've probably ever read in the last 20 years is due to his work in creating digital lettering.
Crazy.
He's won loads of Eisner Awards and all that sort of stuff as well for his work as a letterer, as a letterer of choice. But again, he was the editor of Marvel UK back in the day. David has got him lined up for an interview already, which is great.
Brilliant.
I don't know who's next. Who's our next slide? Simon Furman.
Big one.
Yes.
Obviously, people will know Simon from his Transformers work, both in the UK and in the US. Creator of Death's Head, creator of Dragon's Claws. Everybody's favorite Marvel UK, yeah.
All great.
And of course, he wrote quite a lot of Action Force as well. So we've got him confirmed for an interview for the book 2.
All right, that's good. I can't wait for all those interviews. Honestly, like they are all absolute legends in my eyes. Now, this is obviously the Action Force the Battle Years. We've got a visual of right now. You picked up an IDA Design Award honorable mention in 2021 for this. Take us through. How did that feel?
That was actually amazing. Like, I work as a professional designer in my I suppose my day job, you know.
Professional.
We were we use that term professional very loosely. But we were submitting some projects to the IDA, which we do every year, and I decided to submit, you know, the book, you know, book 1, the Battle Years, and it goes in. It's months before you hear back. You know, I mean, it's months before you hear back from them. So I'd forgotten about it, and the next thing I got this email, and it was you know, the International Design Awards. This was back in January, and it said, you know, log into your account and see if you were successful. And we picked up 3 awards and 2 honorable mentions in the 2021 award ceremony at the end of last year. And one of the honorable mentions was for Action Force the Battle Years. So that was
unbelievable, man.
To get that. I mean, it really was brilliant to get that, because the competition is fierce. So I mean, we're talking thousands of entries in all of the different categories. So to get, you know, even an honorable mention it's a great piece of critical acclaim for this book. So we're thrilled with that. But it's that level of quality that we're bringing to book 2. So,
well, I was also say very well deserved as well, chaps.
Cheers
for
Chris.
that.
Thank you.
100%. What I will say as well, something we haven't mentioned just yet, is that this is all officially licensed as well. We're talking book 1, volume 2, officially licensed product. That's another big kind of thing for me. It's like how legitimate this is.
Well, it's really important for us that we kind of worked with the IP holders. So on book 1, we wanted to reuse a lot of the comic art. We had to go to Rebellion, who are the owners of that comic art, and they were very supportive, you know, very agreeable, but we had to have all of the legal boxes ticked. So we had to engage with Hasbro to get permission, which we received from Hasbro UK. And then book 1 was able to happen how we wanted it to happen. We could have produced a book on a fair use basis, but we would have had to compromise the content. We would have had to take a lot of stuff out of it. It wouldn't be the book that it is if we hadn't gone the right route about it. So we had to just follow that same model. Like, the ambition for book 2 is big. There's a big story to tell, and we want to tell it well. And to be able to do that, we need to have the licensors, you know, on board. And in this case, it's entirely with Hasbro. So we reached out again to Hasbro, and they were very, you know, very, very accommodating is the best way to put it. You know, and they had seen book 1. They were very familiar with what we had achieved with the first book. So we have their support again on this one, and we have, thankfully, you know, very gratefully, their permission to go ahead and bring this book to market. So if you know, if we get this campaign funded, we're going to be able to produce a second book, you know, with the backing of the licensor, and get it back out there for the fans.
Fan-blooming-tastic. Just got a few more. Let's revert to the 3 Stooges.
The 3 amigos.
Right. What question are we getting? Some little bits and pieces coming in here. Peppermint Oil Capsule was replying to Diecast Nick actually at the time, but I got Mars CC on a Palitoy card after he appeared in the Battle Action Force comic. I kept the card back until my dad threw all my cards out. Thanks, Dad, for doing that. That's awesome, though. Someone thought the live chat had frozen. Hopefully that isn't the case. Let us know if we have, but I don't think it is. I think that might have just been an individual issue there. WJ has asked, does he ever go to US or Canada conventions? I think he's talking about any of the old Action Force staff. Furman does, doesn't he? Didn't he go to like the
Furman
Transformers
has, yeah. Brian Hitch would have, of course.
Yeah.
I think quite a lot of them have, yeah. Particularly New York Comic Con tends to get a lot of the UK and Irish creators over for it because it's an easier flight than San Diego. But I'm pretty certain a few of them have shown up in New York Comic Con and so on.
Yeah, awesome. Cool. Okay. No. Oh, Diecast Nick. You got me. Went for the Ore Striker pledge. Thank you, Diecast Nick.
Thanks,
awesome.
Nick.
Diecast Nick.
We'll be saying thank you to everyone that says they've pledged individually. I'm just going to have a quick check on how it's doing before we close up today. 34 backers, guys. You're up to over $7,000, which is nice.
Okay. Wow. Thank you.
Doing really well.
Thanks everybody so far. Thank you very much, everybody.
What have you got to beat Skeletron on? Like 600 and something? Yeah, you get there.
I think they're up to 700 and something. We'll get there, right?
No worries. Outback Stew says, "What's up, fellas? Hello, Outback."
Hello.
And yeah, cool. Right. Well, that kind of brings us to the end of the live stream. Lads, thank you for jumping on and chatting all about the book. So excited. It's launched today. Link in the description. Get your pledges in. I also wanted to have a look at how the HMS Flag one's doing, because I would be interested to see how many are left. 4 are left out of 10 of those.
Wow.
4 left, guys. If you want all that cool stuff from all the cool stuff, if you want all that cool stuff from all the cool stuff, then make sure you pledge the HMS Flag level. Anyway, lads, anything else you wanted to add? Anything else you want to kind of?
Did we mention our stretch goals when I was missing?
No, you didn't. Let's talk about stretches.
Stretch goals, yes.
Yes. So they're fairly straightforward. So obviously our funding goal is 35, which will give us the money to produce volume 2. It's more than it was for volume 1 because guess what? Printing costs have gone up by 25% in the last 4 months. Yeah.
Why?
So I wonder why that was.
Not a clue.
And postage costs are not much better. Sad to say. So that is why the funding goal is higher than we would like, and why it was higher than last time. At 40,000, we're going to add 16 additional pages to the book. We're calling it the Double the Dios pledge tier. It's not going to double the dios, obviously. But what happened last time is that Brian ran out of space to put all the dioramas in he had shot. And so he's got maybe 20 images that you couldn't use for volume 1. A lot of
pics couldn't make it in because the content was so good, and our budget was restrictive to the 192 pages plus cover that we just had to make editorial decisions to cut the images rather than the text, because the text is magic. It's just brilliant what Paddy and David wrote in book 1. It's just chef kiss.
By the way, you've had another question, and I think I can answer this. Will Outback be in the book? Yes, he will.
Mm-hmm.
Will Outback? Here's a question for you. You're allowed to say, will Outback be in the book other than just in the toy lineup?
Ooh, good question.
Does he show up in Action Force UK? I'm trying to think. He does have a UK specific file card because he's Scottish.
He's in the monthly.
So
he's in the monthly.
Yeah. So he'll have to get a character page too. Yeah.
Absolutely. He's got to be in there.
He's in that amazing story with Psychout in the Australian Outback, where they're like, he's giving him like a psychological evaluation when the Dreadnoks turn up. And
That's
there's this big,
right.
It's brilliant. You're gonna love it, mate. You're gonna love it because you're Outback.
Because he's Scottish, obviously, in Action Force continuity as well.
Yeah, it's brilliant. You'll love that. Jimmy Godfrey says, more Disorder of Battle when you're ready, please, lads. I miss it. Yeah. I mean, just in terms of availability, it's just the only reason why we've been struggling to get those done. But yeah, maybe. And also, big shout out to Jimmy Godfrey, who is an absolute legend, customizer extraordinaire.
Is he the best customizer in the UK? We have to get him and Luke Coffey Brainbridge to fight it out.
Fight. I tell you what, they're both extremely high-level customizers and wonderful gentlemen. So thank you, lads, and also big shout out to Jimmy Godfrey. Thanks for the comment as well, mate.
Cheers.
Yeah, cool. Oh, Outbacks has also added, give him his own book. Outback.
Why not?
I'll check my Collins' schedule and see if we could do like an Action Force Outback special. That's like €100,000 stretch goal.
Total Outback. That'd be amazing.
So anyway, back to stretch goals. So yeah, at 40k we get those additional pages. So Brian go mad with the dios. That brings the book up to 192 pages. At 45,000, we're going to get the artists we're interviewing for the book are all going to do new art for the book.
Yes.
So to add to the Mike Collins cover, Kev Hopgood, Jeff Senior, Steve Yoel, and Mike Collins again have all said they will do some new art. So we will need to pay them for that.
Like some of those strip, get them to do an entire comic, an entire issue. Issue 51 or issue, was it? I can't remember what they finished on monthlies.
Action Force Monthly 14 or whatever. Yeah,
do that. That'd be so good. I'd be so into that.
But yeah, I'm really excited for that because obviously when they were doing Action Force, they were new artists and they were only starting out. Now it's 30 odd years later, and top of their game, some of them still, they're now experienced artists. So I mean, you can see the quality of Mike Collins' cover that he did for the book. Like it's unbelievable the quality of the art he's put into it.
Just to say there, Mike, when he sent us the finished piece, he said that he had a lot of fun working on that. So and you can see it comes through in his work. He really enjoyed doing that. So that's the kind of enthusiastic reception we've got from the artists that we've reached out to. So if we unlock that particular stretch goal, I expect that we're going to have some wonderful pieces of brand new Action Force art to include in the pages of the book.
I can't wait. I kind of want them to do like a whole. I just want you to just go nuts and have them do an entire comic. That would be so good, wouldn't it? That comes along with it. Let's just do that. Let's just get them back. Let's get the team back. Let's get the team back together. I'm putting together a team anyway, guys.
And then finally, our last stretch goal obviously is at 50k, and that'll allow us to do a reprint of Volume 1 as a soft cover. So yeah, we figured that was the easiest way to do that, was to tack it on here. It gives people a chance to get that book again, albeit in soft cover, but it'll be cheaper than the hardcover was. And if you pledge for Volume 1 and Volume 2 and Volume 1 when it unlocks, we can set it all in the same envelope.
Brilliant.
But what I like about that is book 1 ended up being a lot more popular than we thought it was going to be. A lot of people contacted us after the Kickstarter had ended, saying that they'd missed the Kickstarter, they didn't know about it, and we didn't have enough books to sell to all those people because we limited it to what we thought was going to be the number of backers that we were expecting to get, which is under 300.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's only 270 books produced of book 1. That's how rare that is. 270 copies are in existence, and they are
half of that.
They're with their owners. So,
like we literally ended up selling people our author copies. Like myself and Brian kept 3 copies each for ourselves, for our own files or whatever. Yeah. And people just kept asking, and we're like, okay, we'll sell you our copies. So literally, I have 1 copy of the book left. I think Brian, you have 1 as well. Yeah. So
you guys made it.
So this particular so if we unlock book 1, we'll have that kind of paperback edition. Then that we'll fulfill the campaign, and we'll have a small quantity left over. Hopefully that we can then sell post
burn.
All the backers are once they're all fulfilled, or burn,
or melt it.
Burning ceremony.
Amazing. A couple of more comments to do before we leave. Peppermint Oil Capture says, may I please shamelessly plug the next episode of Slaughterhouse Wrestling Championship on the Sergeant Slaughter Slaughterhouse YouTube channel. 8 p.m. Friday US Eastern, 1 a.m. Saturday UK, 10 a.m. Saturday Aussie time. The police are here. I'm just kidding.
Sergeant, he means Sergeant Slammer House.
It
right?
must mean Slammer's.
Because that's the Action Force version.
You've asked, may you plug it? And I'm saying, no, you can't, even though we just did it for you. Diana
Go listen to Sergeant Slammer House.
Yeah, go change the name first. Diana Davis says, dang, I wish I'd come in from the garden and seen you alive earlier. It's exciting to see volume 2
Diana.
on the way.
Hi, Diana.
Hello. And also big shout out to Diana Davis and the IDW team.
Yes.
Today they released issue 2 of Saturday Morning Adventures. So if you haven't got it, go get it. Was it yesterday? It was probably yesterday actually that came out. If you haven't got it, go get it. It's amazing. What a brilliant comic that is at the moment. Thank you so much, Diana, for your work on that. What else we got going on? Diana says, I don't think you can leave unless we hear a few words from Paddy's cat about it.
Oh, sorry, is she
It's
here?
right
I didn't
there.
realize.
He didn't even know. He didn't even know the cat was there.
She's very silent.
Oh,
Katie, you're on television. No, not interested.
No, not interested. Amazing. Peppermint Oil Capsule says Slammer will be present.
Hey.
Brilliant.
Wait.
Well,
Okay. Kind of. Anyway.
If the campaign goes really, really well, and and if we do unlock book 1 earlier, then before the end of the campaign, we have a few ideas for other stretch goals, but we don't want to get too overly optimistic at this point. I mean, it's early days, and even just to get the minimum funding goal would be fantastic. But if things go really well, we've got a few other things we can break out of the bag.
Fantastic, lads. It has been an absolute pleasure having you on. It's been an absolute pleasure knowing you throughout both of these books and more, like, Total Retaliation, Total Hacks, Total Action Force, The Battle Years, Total Action Force Volume 2. Kickstarter is live. Link in the description. Get pledging. Let's get this funded. We are currently at, before we leave, 36 backers. You got 34 days to go. Are you going to be able to last that long with all the stress and anxiety?
Well, actually, one of our stretch goals after we get the battle years funded for the paperback is that we'll pay for anti-anxiety meds for the next year as we try and get the book finished.
That's absolutely necessary.
70 grand gets Paddy and Brian Zoloft for 12 months.
You'll find out that it's actually cheap to print stuff. It's just they need it for their meds. Amazing. Right. Like I said, in the description, guys, thanks for jumping on and chatting with me about the book. Cannot wait for this. It's amazing. This is my era. I'm not even kidding.
Yes.
Thanks to everybody who's been joining in, who's been chatting along, asking questions. Thanks for jumping on. Really appreciate it. That's pretty much it. There's only one thing left to do, I'm afraid, guys. And I think you know what that is.
Oh, yeah.
You know what happens after 3? 1, 2, 3.
Full force!
Perfection. That's it for this installment of the Full Force News Burst. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe. See you next time, and as always, full force. Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos, and as always you can keep up with the show after listening by following on Twitter @TheFullForce, liking the Facebook page facebook.com/TheFullForce, and if you would like to contact the show you can message us on either of those platforms with feedback and questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/TheFullForce podcast, or click on the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.